welcome to this week's episode of A Lost Cause. This is a very special episode because it is the 1-year anniversary today, September 30th, of Annie's first viewing of the episode Man Behind the Curtain. And so in honor of that, we're going to be talking a lot about that episode, and specifically Young Ben.
It's Young Ben's episode, last of the trilogy, of the Ben trilogy. This shirt is pink now. It went through the wash. Something happened, and I think it lost its innocence probably. But that's all we're gonna.
Yeah, you might remember. I think a previous shout out went to this store that sold these clothes, but then we spoke too soon because Annie put them in the wash
and well, thankfully, the actual this isn't pink. But everything else is pink.
Well, and it looks fine.
It looks okay.
I think it looks good.
The light does it dirty, but oh well.
So, let's go back to a year ago when this significant event happened. Maybe talk a little bit about that. And
how about we talk about like what was the circumstances?
Yeah.
Because it was I'm only now kind of remembering these little pieces of how it all played out. But we were in Edmonton for Shawna's 50th birthday because she's really old. I'm just kidding. Don't want you to purge me. And we were staying at this Polynesian room in Fantasyland Hotel, and I remember saying, wow, this is so much like the barracks, but little did I know that in one day I would have really known about the barracks and, whatever. It had this cave fountain thing that was really foreshadowing the end, and you'll have to put up some pictures.
I will. Yeah, it was very Lost appropriate.
Yes, and it was, but I was only a little. I was pretty into season 3, and I loved Lost. It was.
Yeah, so you were just at season 3.
I was just at season 3. Wow. I was just a little baby.
Yeah.
But anyways, we come home, and I remember having this bingo thing for Lost, and the one episode we watched was The Man Behind the Curtain, and I love it so much.
Okay.
It's just my favorite thing in the world.
But what was your initial reaction?
Should I just read the text?
Sure. So I get this text message.
Really late.
Yeah.
It says, okay, just so you know, if you haven't watched any of our previous episodes, when we saw Skeleton Roger, I was like, that's my boyfriend.
Yeah.
And
this was quite a while before we see.
And I was not a big fan of Ben.
Right.
So this is my string. Okay, this is in all caps. Okay, let me get this straight. I'm dating freaking off-brand Harry Potter's deadbeat dad. There's a character with my name who's in love with stupid off-brand Harry Potter. John is probably dead, and there wasn't even that much Aaron or Sawyer in this episode. 2 out of 100, because Sawyer was my favorite character at the time. Then Shauna says, ouch, Annie says no to this episode. We spoke too soon.
Yeah, so, I read that and was like, oh dear, she really doesn't like it. I remember when we saw Skeleton Roger, because it had been so long since I'd watched it, vaguely there was some kind of warning in my brain of but we find out more about this Roger. Who is he again? But I couldn't really put it together at the time. But then it was oh, right. So I was a little bit worried that Annie might lose interest in the show or because it seems like a lot of people do part ways with Lost somewhere along the line, often in around season 3, I guess. But clearly she survived.
I did survive.
And
indeed.
Her opinions changed a little bit. So tell us about that journey to loving Ben.
I don't know. I don't really remember the first time watching, except for watching The Man Behind the Curtain. I remember being very into that episode.
Well, and you do make the comment in that text chain. It was a well-written episode.
And yeah, I know that there was no confusion while watching the episode, although sometimes there is. I knew who Young Ben was. I think I figured out that Roger was Ben's dad before it was revealed.
Mm-hmm.
I think so, but I'm not sure. And I also remember in the whole, like, Jacob's cabin scene, Dad was like, Annie, this might be too scary for you, but I was, like, into it.
Yeah, good.
So, I mean, it wasn't that bad of a first reaction.
Yeah, at least you got through it.
Well, yeah, but I don't know what changed me.
Well, it obviously made a big impression on you, and I think part of it was this Annie character.
It was, yeah. I mean, at one point, probably during season 5 or season 6, or even after Lost, I rewatched The Man Behind the Curtain maybe, and I really liked the Annie character. I really liked that. And towards the end of the show, I warmed up to Ben. I wasn't mad at him or anything, but yeah, I liked the actress, so I found this movie that she's in, and yeah, I don't know why, I just kind of like, I kept going back to that episode, I kept going back to certain scenes in that episode, and I don't know what it was about it, but I do know that I, while watching, was waiting for the return of Annie, which didn't come.
So what is the actress's name again that plays
So,
Annie?
Madeline Carroll is the actress, and
who plays young Ben?
Sterling Bowman.
Right. And that's the first time we see him, is Man Behind the Curtain.
Mm-hmm.
And what do we learn from the episode Man Behind the Curtain?
You're really stressing me out without saying the
Man Behind the Curtain. I'm sorry. Blooper.
Yeah, we know that Ben has some problems. He's, kind of a sociopath, something like that. And then we kind of go back into his first flashback episode.
Yes.
Which not a lot of, some characters have them, but not a lot of characters actually go that far back.
It took a while, too.
It did take a while.
Really, because he's introduced, early, mid season 2, and then, takes a while to get.
And then it's, end of season 3 that we figure it out. But, yeah, we see that he was born premature, not on the island, which is very significant because Ben had been saying that he was born on the island. He literally says it in the start of the episode. But he wasn't. He was born in Oregon.
But when we first see it, it's in the woods.
It's supposed to be in the woods. It also stresses me out because there's no jungle in Oregon. But, and Emily Linus is his mom, is giving birth to this baby. She's bleeding. Something's obviously wrong. Then Roger kind of carries her out.
And we're thinking it's the island.
And he's like, we need to find help. But then they run out of this forest, and it's this giant freeway.
Yeah, and there's a big semi-truck that goes by. So you're kind of jolted, thinking, oh, this isn't on the island after all.
So then Roger is hitchhiking pretty much with, screaming help with his wife in his arms, and she's obviously not doing okay. And then, this red car pulls up, and they kind of try to help Emily, but it's too late.
And we see a sign that kind of tells us where we are.
Yeah, we're 32 miles outside of Portland. And yeah, she dies. She dies, and her last words are name him Benjamin, which is obviously a reference to the Bible. Because is it Hannah? Someone dies in childbirth and names.
It is
not Hannah.
Rachel.
Rachel. It's Rachel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rachel and Leah were the sisters. I couldn't remember which was which, but yeah.
And Rachel dies in childbirth and then names the kid Benjamin. So, well, it's not exactly Benjamin, but he ends up being named Benjamin, which is it translates to child of pain or something like that. So.
Yeah. But, just kind of in that biblical story, Benjamin becomes a real, not the favorite of his dad, Jacob, because, Jacob had 2 wives who were sisters, Leah and Rachel, and Leah had several children, but Rachel only had 2, Joseph and then the baby, Ben. And Jacob clearly favors those kids, even though she died in childbirth. But does Ben's dad kind of feel the same way?
No.
No.
I was so confused.
Yeah, sorry.
You just said he... No. Roger, we see in a little while that Roger's got some problems going on.
Yeah.
He's an alcoholic on the island, I will add, because we don't really know what happened
We don't know what he
before.
was like before. Yeah.
But yeah, he is not a fan of his literal son.
Well, he blames him.
Yes, he blames him for his dad.
Which is so
the mom's
stupid.
dad.
Like, as if he had anything to, any control over
And
it.
I mean, if anything, why wouldn't he blame himself?
Exactly.
For
that's
bringing
what I think.
Emily on the hike for...
Well, and she kept saying something was wrong. Like, and I mean, whatever. He acted as quickly as he could, but, like, it's no one's fault.
Yeah. But, so we see, like, young Benjamin Linus get to the island, which is, and his, just, like, kind of checking off all the boxes of, before Roger gets his jumpsuit,
Mm-hmm.
and Ben is created by this girl, Annie. And Horace is there, and Horace is the person who stopped in the car.
Right.
He was there the day Ben was born.
Horace and
Olivia, but Olivia isn't introduced just yet.
No, but she was in the car with Horace. So we
So
see them
we,
as a couple.
So we think, the script says that it's his wife, but I don't think Horace don't really get it, but it's okay. It was a different time.
Yeah. Maybe Horace has, skills we don't know about, like just lots of money or something.
He has lots of money.
Yeah.
Anyways, further into the episode, we see Ben and Annie in a classroom, and Olivia, the woman, is teaching about volcanoes, and Annie drops like a real plot twist on us so casually because she was like, "Oh, is that what happened to the volcano on this island?" Mm-hmm. What volcano?
Yeah.
Did they revisit that? No.
But they had planned to, right?
Well, they kind of did. The ash around the cabin and around the temple, that's actually,
volcanic ash?
Yes.
And
there's a special word, I don't remember what
on
it's called.
some behind-the-scenes thing we saw, instead of it being the incident, it was going to be, or the incident was going to be tied to this volcano erupting at one point, right?
But, yeah.
But then they changed their mind.
That just didn't happen. Anyways, we hear this alarm go off, and the teacher grabs a rifle, and all the kids have to go into this corner. Annie locks the door, and we see that there's, outside the window, there's, some explosions going on. People are running around, people have guns, and so it's, a really scary, there's kids crying, it's a real kind of traumatic thing.
Yeah, for sure.
That they had been practicing for, so.
Mm-hmm. And it's not just a practice drill this time, there's actually something going on.
And then, it's revealed that it's the Hostiles, which we're not familiar with. Mm-hmm. We don't know who those are, but we kind of do. It's the others.
They're the others, yeah. But in this time frame, they're called the Hostiles. So.
Yes. And then we see Ben go home, and Roger's just freaking out at Horace over I don't know, being
he's just
shot at. He's upset. He's drunk.
He wants more money.
He is I'm gonna need another $30,000. You're sweeping up messes. Why are you getting paid? Anyways, also I'd like to add that you can't really hear it because it's a complicatedly filmed scene, but Roger does say, "We were driving out to the flame with the Rudzinski kid."
Yeah. We see that in the subtitles.
And we start getting shot at.
So, I mean, that raises all kinds of questions.
All kinds of questions.
Rudzinski is not a kid. The Stuart Rudzinski hasn't been a kid for a long time. So is there another Rudzinski?
Who knows? It was probably just one of the many errors that we're going to talk about from this episode. And then actually we see something's tapping at Ben's bedroom window, and all of a sudden the ghost of his mother, Emily, is in the window, and very scary. And
we're still not really sure, like, if it is her ghost, if it is the man in black.
We'll talk about it. I think it's a ghost because we see Emily again, and she's on the other side of the fence. Ben, she's like, don't run into whatever. And the sonic fence, the man in black wouldn't be able to get over that.
She wouldn't be able to tap at his window, and she's not on the island.
Yeah,
right?
She didn't die on the island. So I do think it's just like a ghost.
I think so too.
Schizophrenia, maybe, something like that. Maybe, I do think that there's something special with children on the island, because we've seen that before.
But maybe particularly Ben,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm sure you're going to explain.
Yes.
Something that someone asks him about that, but yeah.
And then we see my favorite scene in the entire show.
The entire show?
Yes. Did you not know that?
I don't think
the
I
little
did
swing scene? It's
so
yes.
Cute. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Pirate Richard.
No,
yeah.
Pirate Richard has to wait.
Of course, the swings are your favorite.
Yeah, the swings are my favorite because it's just so cute. Ben and Annie are on the swings, and she gives him this present, and it's these dolls that look like them. And obviously he's like just so happy about these stupid carved little dolls.
Well, it's the most love we see anybody give Ben. Like, she remembers his birthday, she made a present for him, and she says, now we never have to be away from each other. Which, like, as the viewer, we're kind of like, but this is Ben Linus, though. And so far, like, young Ben, I don't think has said a word.
No, he hasn't. It's the first thing he says.
Yeah.
He says thanks.
Yeah. So we're kind of like, boy, what does this, girl see in Ben? But something.
It's very sweet.
It's really, really sweet. I agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then in another scene, I love this scene. Ben, like, runs away. He's packed up. He's got his bags and everything. He turns off the sonic fence because he's got this code, and he goes through, and he's running through the jungle. He hears some whispers. He starts freaking out. Then, of course, they have the, turning, filming thing, and then Richard Alpert is behind him. And we're like, what?
We think it's Richard Alpert.
Why is Richard here?
Because,
Ben is a kid.
And, yeah, exactly, right? And he looks around the same age, although he looks a little different somehow.
He looks different because he's Pirate Richard.
And why do you call him Pirate Richard?
Because he looks like a pirate. I love Pirate Richard.
Normally when we see Richard Alpert, he's very, very well groomed, very clean cut, short hair, shaven, kind of preppy clothes. But in this one scene, he's got the 70s hippie thing.
Is it the hippie thing or is it a homeless person thing?
Well, the homeless person look is really the others / hostels. That is their signature look for some reason.
But yeah, and it's so weird because we see later Richard Alpert in the 50s when John Locke is young and he is normal. We see him,
yeah,
and sometimes, right, because in season 6 we see that he actually is a pirate. He actually did crash there, but no, there's times in between that where he looks normal.
He looks the same all the time, except I always say right off the cover of GQ, except for this one scene.
Yeah. And later in 77, he looks normal again.
So he didn't stick with that look. So I think this is 1974.
It is. No, it's 73.
73. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And he didn't stick with that look for very long. Because actually we do see him in 1974, right? Because he talks to Sawyer on the bench, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, yeah, it was very temporary, but unless it was just whenever they approach kind of the line, right? he was like in the disguise.
I don't
of him?
think so, though.
That doesn't seem consistent.
Anyways, he's asking Ben about.
We've spent several minutes talking about Richard Alpert's appearance in this one scene.
He talks to Ben about how he's special or something.
And why does he think he might be special?
Because he saw his dead mom.
Yeah, and he asks, and this is actually a very important clue. He says something like, "Has your mother ever been on the island?" Right?
Did she die here?
Did she die here? Which kind of bolsters our theory that the man in black can only appear as someone who died on the island and whose body is on the island. Because Christian Shepherd
considering that we don't think, well, we know that none of those are true, then it is probably just a ghost.
And because, like, Ben says no, then I think Richard is like, oh, maybe there's something special about this kid.
Yeah,
he's not just seeing
like,
the smoke monster.
They have, like, something about special kids. John Locke, Walt.
Yeah.
You know.
Definitely.
Okay, I'm scared we're going to run out of time.
Yeah. So that's kind of how we see young Ben in that episode. When do we see young Ben again after that?
We see him in the episode Namaste, all the way in season 5.
Yeah, so like a couple years have gone by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes young Ben the only young version of a character to come back.
So, I mean, good job, Sterling Bowman. That, like, I think, you know, the showrunners were like, we want to see more of not just young Ben, but more of Dharmaville, more of this.
Because really, that's all we see. We only have the man behind the curtain to, like, you know, that's in the Dharma Initiative. And then when they expand on that, they, like, you know, they want to bring these characters back. They have Roger back. They have Horace back. They don't have Olivia back. They don't have Annie back. But
we do see Rosinski.
So it adds up.
Yeah. And, I mean, thank goodness they did, because, like, as the viewers will know, that is one of our very favorite sort of arcs of the show is the Dharmaville days. And maybe that also explains why there appear to be some, like, continuity errors.
Which we will talk about.
But I'm just saying, like, at the time, they probably never intended to follow up on it, and so it was just kind of a one-off, but...
Yeah, so anyways, this depressed child is, like, bringing Saeed, who's been captured by the Dharma Initiative, these sandwiches. And
what kind of sandwich?
Chicken salad sandwich.
He specifically says, I made you a chicken salad sandwich.
Mm-hmm. No, he doesn't say that.
What does he say?
He's like, he's coming into the room, Phil's there, and he's like, hey, I brought him a sandwich, chicken salad this time.
Oh, okay, it's Phil he says it to. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I will defer
just clearing up those misconceptions out there. Another misconception we need to talk about is young Ben in the 70s is not 12 years old. There's no way that he's 12 years old. He doesn't look 12 years old, and he's not, because it doesn't make any sense.
No, he's not 12 years old.
He tells Saeed that 4 years ago he ran into Richard Alpert, which obviously just, you know, made me kind of derail, go into encrypted documents and find this original script from The Man Behind the Curtain. And yeah, he's born in 1962 or 3, and which would make him 14 or 15.
In 1977.
In 1977.
So yeah, Saeed says a 12-year-old Ben Linus. Right?
Yeah.
Brought me. Does he say chicken salad?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And he's not 12, but whatever. Like Saeed was just.
Well, it just makes me mad, okay? Because nobody was like, oh.
It actually makes it worse that Saeed thinks he's younger than he is and still shoots him.
Yeah.
It's even worse to shoot a 12-year-old than a 14-year-old.
Anywho, going to what you were saying, we see a couple more scenes, him bringing the sandwiches. Actually, we see, like, a little run-in with Roger, which...
Roger's mad about the sandwiches.
Throws the plate on the floor, even though he's going to have to clean it up. But, yeah, and then the next time we see Young Ben, his glasses are all broken,
Yeah.
and it's,
So things are really tough for young Ben.
And no one's helping him in the Dharma
Yeah.
Initiative, which is like, they say they're all so great, but...
It's a good point. Like, why doesn't anyone intervene or do anything,
Because, like, Horace is kind of responsible for Roger coming to the island, and young Ben coming to the islands, but he won't do anything about it.
Well, someone should be looking out for Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, Roger's not doing a good job of parenting.
No. Yeah. So and then, he's, as one does, he sets a van on fire.
But why is Ben so interested in Saeed? Like, maybe just kind of explain.
Oh, he's, like, really interested in the hostels.
And everybody thinks that Saeed is a hostel. So Ben wants Saeed to, like, take him. Because when he met Pirate Richard said, you have to be patient.
Mm-hmm.
That he expressed then he wanted to come with them.
That's why I keep on saying that. If I ever say, like, you have to be patient or something like that,
that's why.
That's why.
And have you generally taken that sentiment to heart? Like, are you a pretty patient person, would you say?
I'd say I'm, like, the most patient person.
Really? Okay.
Probably in the world.
Wow. All right.
Probably.
I think you have a very healthy and accurate perception of yourself.
What, do you think otherwise?
There are times when you can be a little impatient, but...
Anyways.
It's normal.
Anyways. Young Ben breaks Saeed out of jail and is running away.
Well, and how does he break him out? It's we should say, because it's
I tried to, but you interrupted me. He sets a van on fire. Obviously, he sends a van on fire.
And they really did.
Commits arson.
We watched the behind the scenes, and they totally set this old 1970s VW van on fire. So they had to get it right.
Yes. So, which they didn't so many times.
Yeah, and they couldn't get the hoses to work.
Anyway. We're saying that too much. Yeah, so then Ben breaks him out of the jail, and Saeed shoots him.
And we've talked about this in the Saeed episode,
but
why does he shoot him?
Because he thinks he's, like, stopping, he thinks he can change the future, stop bad things from happening.
Yeah, like, I think he acknowledges that what he's doing is wrong.
Yeah, because he's all crying. Oh yeah, in a couple of episodes you're literally praising yourself for shooting a kid.
Well, in his mind it is the greater good, and it's a moral dilemma, because knowing who Ben becomes, and, Saeed has all of this blame towards Ben for his own life, he thinks that is actually the greater good, even though killing a child is, like, objectively wrong, and how could there ever be a circumstance to justify that? He thinks that it is justified.
Do I think that? No.
And I think
Did I think that? I don't think so.
And I think the show agrees with you, and sort of, because, many of our favorite characters strongly take that position, that it's never okay to shoot a kid.
Yeah, Juliet does, Sawyer does, Kate does. But, like, Jack.
Yeah.
Jack. Get out, please.
Yeah, poor Juliet is sort of left to try to operate on Ben, or, like, stop the bleeding. He's badly, badly injured. And, I mean, she needs Jack's help, and Jack just refuses. He's just like, I already saved him once, I'm not doing it again.
And so then, in a last resort, Juliet makes Kate and Sawyer take Ben out to the hostels.
Because they're thinking maybe they have something they can do to help him.
And do they?
Yeah. So what happens?
So they take that guy from the office is there. It is Ryan, or is
I don't think that's when the guy from the office is there. The guy from the office is in, like, the Ijira, like, flight.
I think you're wrong.
But anyway, I know who you're talking about, that Ryan guy.
Yeah. No. The guy who's like, you shouldn't do this without asking Ellie first. I think that's him.
Okay, well, I'll double check and we'll get back to you.
Um,
To my knowledge, the only overlap with The Office and Lost was like the guy who was drawing.
no, there is. Ryan's in it.
Like
Ryan's in Lost.
Okay, Ryan who?
From The Office.
No.
Yes.
No, he's not.
No.
BJ Novak?
No. The guy, Brian? I don't know. One of those guys.
I think the only guy is the guy who was drawing butts on Pam's mural.
I don't think that's...
But anyway.
Anyways, so then Richard Alpert is like, whoa, I know this kid, and takes him to the temple. This is the first time we see the temple. This is, back in season 4, Ben says, oh, go to the temple, like, you'll be safe there, but we still haven't seen it. So there's lots of firsts in all these episodes.
But before Richard takes Ben, he does kind of warn them.
That, if he saves him, that Ben will lose his innocence. But, like...
He won't remember anything.
How much left was there?
Well, yeah, he's already setting buses on fire. He already wants to defect to join the hostels. But it does really make you wonder, because Richard is like, he won't be the same, he won't remember anything, which explains why he doesn't remember Saeed shooting him right from the start as Henry Gale. And, like, he'll lose his innocence. So it's sort of this suggestion that, like, oh, it's actually, like, maybe is it, Sawyer and Kate taking him to the temple that makes Ben into who he becomes?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm totally with Faraday on whatever happened. Mm-hmm. Because, once he changes that, well, everything derails. Oh, Daniel. I'm sorry. Everything derails with him. He dies.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's an interesting thing to think about, though, like, what would have happened if Saeed hadn't shot Ben? He probably still would have gone over to the hostels at some point.
I don't think there ever is a what if, because that's always what happened.
Right. So
that's
there's
just
really
me.
no point. But then I also wonder sometimes, because Juliet is like, look, like, he is bleeding out. Like, he's going to die if we don't do something. But then Jack is kind of just like, hands off, whatever is supposed to happen is going to happen. I'm going to let destiny sort of take the wheel. But what if, Jack was right, and what if the island, because we know the island's healing properties, maybe the island would have intervened and saved Ben.
I don't think so.
And then he wouldn't have had to go to the temple and wouldn't have lost his innocence.
But, like, it did save him by doing the temple. Like, obviously it doesn't always work like that.
It doesn't, And really, like, we learned that the island's power to heal is limited. I mean, when you think of, like, Boone and Shannon and lots of people that were, like, critically injured, it's not like the island just heals them. I mean, so we have these miraculous examples of healing, like Rose is healed from cancer, John Locke was paralyzed and can walk, Jin's infertility is healed, but that's a specific thing about the island, that it, like, really increases, like, the sperm count, I guess. But that doesn't mean
I just want to talk about Young Ben. I don't want to be talking about that.
You don't want to talk about Jim's sperm count? But anyways, so I guess, like, they couldn't leave it to chance that the island was going to somehow save Ben, because he was very, very badly wounded. Like, because Saeed didn't just shoot to wound him. He shot to kill, right? That was his intention, was to kill him.
And now, we're gonna talk about the inconsistencies.
Okay.
Because Ben is clearly shot on his left side, but the next episode, Juliet's operating on his right side.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad mistake.
Another mistake in those episodes is that he's, I was very excited when I saw it. He's wearing Converse until Richard Alpert's carrying him, and he's wearing these random, like, brown shoes. Mm-hmm. And I don't think they decided to change his shoes halfway through bringing him to the temple.
Right. Oh, you mean so on the way to the temple?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so that is a mistake.
Another thing is the glasses, because when he's in operation, he's not wearing those glasses. But when they bring him out to the van, he's wearing his glasses.
See, but I think it's someone's specific job on the show to, like, take care of these
It
details.
is, but
and
they're
they were
just,
just, like, away that week, I guess.
I don't know.
So that's just that episode, then. That's not even Man Behind the Curtain mistakes.
Man Behind the Curtain mistakes, there's a lot. So first one is Roger's thing. Jumpsuit workman thing is different.
Yeah, than when we see him in the van as a skeleton.
And, you know, once again, I don't think anybody's going out there changing his jumpsuit.
Right.
But...
And it's just, like, unfortunate that they reference him being named Roger. So they're obviously thinking of that skeleton Roger, but then they don't go to the effort to make sure that it matches.
Yeah, I don't... Anyways, there's another one. There's a couple, but I don't remember all of them from the Man Behind the Curtain. So you might have to help me out. But the backpack that Ben's wearing is literally invented in the 80s, which is 10 years. I mean, unless... No? Kate or Sawyer wouldn't have been able to bring that. So, yeah, it's just kind of...
A mistake.
It's a mistake.
And it might... Pirate Richard might also be a mistake.
Pirate Richard is probably a mistake.
You know, because they were probably like, look, it's the 70s, he would look like this. And then for some reason they just were like, no, actually we're going to have him look exactly the same in every era.
Yeah. And because of that, I forever will love that episode.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's like when something's really rare because of a mistake. Like, you know, when, like, I don't know, there's like coins that have some marking on them that's actually a mistake. It makes them more rare.
Yeah. And that's not the last we see of young Ben, because we do see him in Dead is Dead, where Charles Woodmore is, like, all upset about.
But it's not the same actor. It's not Sterling Bowman.
Yes, it is.
Oh, is it? Oh, in Dead is Dead? Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you were talking about a different scene.
No, he's all mad because Richard brought him to the temple, and then he's, like, talking to Ben, saying that he's very special. And, yeah. And then we don't see any more young Ben. So that's sad. But we do see more flashback Ben.
Yeah. I also wanted to make one more point, just because we were talking about Richard Alpert. Because we don't know for sure yet that he doesn't age. Like, it would appear, like, oh, he looks the same in the 70s as he does now. Like, is this a mistake? But then remember there's that line in The Man Behind the Curtain, where Ben's like, oh, it's my birthday. You remember birthdays, don't you, Richard? Like,
that's why it was significant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now is the time where I crack out my useless facts about The Man Behind the Curtain. So, here we go. I don't have that many. Baby Ben, like the little baby one, was actually played by a girl named Amanda.
Okay.
And Michael Emerson, like, saw the couple with their baby in this liquor store and took a picture with them.
Is that what happened?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Shawna asked me what happened, and I just said that child acting can be very hard.
Oh, like, Annie sends me this picture of, like, Michael Emerson holding a baby, and she's like, guess who it is? But it was clearly in a liquor store, so then I was, like, a bit thrown.
And I just said it was because child acting is hard sometimes. This one's an obvious one. If you don't know this, why are you watching this?
But please continue to watch.
Carrie Preston, who plays Emily, is Michael Emerson's wife.
Yeah.
And I think she actually requested that role to be the mom, which is, you know, Ben's birthday is December 18th.
Which we have some problems with, because, like, when he's born, it is not December, okay? Like, Portland has seasons, and there's no way that is December. Mm-hmm. So that's a problem, but...
So, 7 times 777 is 54439, which is the code to the supersonic fence that he puts in. In a deleted scene, Ben and Annie have a classmate named Sean, which is very boring. Ben's rabbit is named Chester, according to the script. And also there's, like, a deleted line where Annie talks about a polar bear.
So, I mean, hopefully you find that interesting. If not, just be thankful that we didn't decide to just do a table read of the man behind the curtain, because we do have the script, as Annie pointed out. So maybe we'll do that next
Another
year.
thing is, in the original script, young Ben is talking to Pirate Richard, and he's like, well, like, is my mom with you? And Richard says not exactly, which is
Yeah,
weird.
that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, the script is quite interesting, actually.
I love reading that script. There's, like, so many swears. I don't remember young Ben swearing. That's
No,
just me.
I don't
but,
either.
But it's maybe for the best that they decided to change that.
So, of course, there's a lot more to say about Ben Linus. I know this is our last part of our 3-part little, series on him. But we are just focusing on young Ben today. So that's why we haven't talked, more about kind of the purge and just different things. But
so, should we do our new segment?
Yeah, because we actually are almost out of time. Wow.
Our new segment is called What's Up With That? And, there's going to be a clip that she's going to edit
hopefully
in.
we can put this clip in and you'll enjoy that.
It's like, what's up with that?
Okay, so you do the first one.
Well, so this new segment is just sort of asking questions like, hey, like, what's up with that? That's weird. And so my thing is that, as you probably know, if you've been watching, Annie is currently rewatching Lost, and with her brother Dono, her younger brother. But keep in mind now, this is Dono's first viewing. And he hasn't cried yet. Like, what's up with that?
What is up with that?
Like he didn't cry at the Constant.
He didn't cry during Juliet's death scene, and before that he was like, Juliet's my favorite character.
He didn't cry when Charlie died. And he said the closest he's come to crying, well, now I think he said Juliet, but before that he said was when Boone died.
It was the first death. It was pretty hard, but...
And the thing is, you might think, well, yeah, so. But, like, Dono, I mean, he's open to crying. He's no stranger
he's very emotional.
To crying. So it is kind of, like, strange that he hasn't cried yet. So we're waiting to see, like, is he going to cry? And we'll report back because there's only a few episodes left and he still hasn't cried.
And then he'll be a guest.
And, like, I don't know. I didn't think it was possible for anyone to get through the entire series and really be invested in it and not cry.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my what's up with that.
My what's up with that is we've been watching Person of Interest, which is not good.
No,
I mean,
it's
it's fine. It's just I'd rather be watching Lost or Law and Order, Criminal Intent. I haven't watched any SVU. No. Get it out of my face. Have you watched those episodes?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I will.
I'm like ordering her to watch episodes with people we like in it.
Well, mainly from Lost. They do a lot of guest spots, but just because of the content, I have to like preview it first.
Anyways, so Person of Interest. Michael Emerson's character is undercover. And we cut to the scene, and he's writing on this chalkboard. And he's like, my name is Mr. Swift. I'm subbing for Mrs. Bentham.
Mm-hmm.
He's a teacher at a high school. His last name is Swift.
It is very strange.
Jeremy Bentham is
one of yeah.
And the plot of the story was Bright Boy from Law and Order Criminal Intent. So
yeah,
I was bugging.
But we think it's probably intentional, like for a little nod to the fans. Because really a lot of Lost fans would watch Person of Interest just for Michael Emerson, probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, did you have any other what's up with that?
I don't remember. Do I? Oh, yeah, I do. Okay, now we're going to talk about the actor of Young Ben, Sterling Bowman.
Yes.
What's up with Sterling Bowman not being, like, included in any of the Lost things? Like, I'm sorry if Sterling Bowman is watching this. If you're watching this, please, like, actually tell us, because no one watches.
Well, we're on your team. Like,
I love Sterling Bowman, but he's just like, we watched the Getting Lost
documentary, yeah.
And I was like, I was excited. I wanted to see my friends. And Sterling Bowman is one of my friends. We saw him in the,
Yeah.
thingy.
Yeah, and he was
The
very
video.
involved in promoting it too, right?
Yes,
So,
but he got, maybe a sentence in. I think it
Yeah.
was even, a cut-off sentence, and he never returned.
it really makes you wonder, because, obviously he, sat down, filmed a complete interview, and yet they only used, literally
Yeah.
a partial sentence, and then that's it, and we don't see him again.
So,
But at least he fared better than the actor who plays Arts, because, that guy, yeah, he went to the premiere. He's, clearly there for his interview, but all they do is just, explode
blow
him.
him up. Blow him up.
He doesn't even get to say anything, does he?
No, nope.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Sterling Bowman, and I kind of have these hyperfixations on certain actors, and right now one would be Sterling Bowman, and I've just been watching everything with him in it, and yeah.
And all that really matters is that he was successful in playing Ben Linus.
Yes,
because
and he was even
invited back.
And he was nominated for an award.
Yeah.
Because of Lost, which is great.
He's also was very involved with Lost's, charity work and making appearances for that. So maybe that should be our shout out to Sterling Bowman.
Yeah.
Just for doing a good job. I think also, I just thought of this, that our shout out could be to the VW vans.
Okay, I'll allow it.
Because we've been looking around town for them. And the other day, I thought I saw one in the Dharma blue, but we couldn't find it again. But Annie's found a few.
I found
around.
a few. There's one by my school, by my high school.
And then I think I don't know what category this fits under, but I think we have to talk a little bit about our encounter with Hurley this week.
Okay, you can talk about it. I've talked a lot.
So, as you know, Annie and I like to buy records, and we've really been into Fleetwood Mac lately. I think on one of our last episodes, Annie talked about how much she's enjoying the album Rumors. So we were at the record store looking for more, and so we ended up buying The Dance, and then just Fleetwood Mac, the first album with Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham. So when we went to buy it, the guy behind the till, was just Hurley. And I mean,
He looked like Hurley.
He looks like Hurley. But there were a lot of complications with the purchase, because I had this card that gets stamped, and I was actually due to get a free record, and
it was just he was just freaking out, and if he wasn't Hurley, it would be really annoying.
yes. If we weren't both just thinking, oh my goodness, this guy is Hurley, it would have been a frustrating experience. I would have been fine, I'll just pay for the record. But and then the first thing we said to each other, the whole time that he's talking,
We're
and
just
I'm dealing
looking
with
at
him,
each other. We're just
I'm just waiting to say, well,
Me
at least we got
too.
to meet Hurley.
And then
Annie said,
one word, and then we both said at the same time, Hurley.
Hurley. So that's pretty awesome that happened. And now I think of that every time I listen to those records.
Hey, we still have to show my art. I am very proud of this art.
Okay, well then we have to make time for the art.
Yes. It's my
Look
Young Ben art.
Look at that.
Look at how good it is.
Yeah.
My favorite is this one.
Okay, hold it up a little
It looks
closer.
very good. I also like the 90s Ben.
Oh.
We didn't get to talk about him one other day. But yeah. Dolls, the Hate It Here, the Bunny, Chester.
Yeah. Really good art this week. Good
Yep.
job.
I know.
I think we should mention too, we often talk about things going on in the world. And
Yes. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot. I was so focused on that.
I guess we should talk about this maybe our next podcast, but the whole world is waiting with bated breath for October 3rd.
Oh.
What were you going
Let's
to
talk about a different orange-themed thing.
Oh, okay. Taylor Swift's next album is coming out. Also, kind of related to Lost, Selena Gomez got married over the weekend, and we saw pictures from the reception, and we know that Taylor Swift was there, but we also know that J.J. Abrams was there.
And it was so funny because Shawna had reposted this picture on her Instagram or something, and she'd sent me the picture, and I clicked on it, and my dad across the room had clicked on it too, and we both at the same time showed it to each other, like the same photo.
Yeah.
Which is
So
great.
Annie and I are kind of hoping that, like, you know, J.J. Abrams, like, struck up a conversation with Taylor Swift because, like, she is his daughter's friend. And then this sort of inspired Taylor Swift to, like, binge watch Lost.
I mean, like, she's obviously seen the people from Lost before. If she's, like, she named her cat after someone from Law and Order.
Yeah, so we know she
And-
likes watching TV.
And specifically in season 12, we know there's lots of great Lost
Yeah, that's
actors.
true. I mean, so
she's-
surely she's aware of it, but maybe she's just never watched it.
So Taylor Swift, if you're watching this, watch Lost.
You're gonna really like it, and it'll inspire a lot of songs.
Just so many, and
Yeah.
and then it'll all make sense. Life will make sense.
Oh,
All right, my hot take time.
Yep,
Do you want
we're
to do
gonna-
your take first? Or?
Yeah, so I'm gonna do my just take. No adjectives. It's just a take. And so I'm trying to sort of like go along with Annie's kind of case for Ben in defense of Ben, seeing how we are talking about young Ben. And of course, Ben has free will, and he made a lot of bad choices and hurt a lot of people deliberately. But he is also the product of other people's choices. His dad, Roger, was an abusive alcoholic dad who blamed him for his mother's death, says really awful things to him, makes it so that
Beats him up.
Yeah, and I mean, so no wonder he hates it there. Richard, made the decision to, and I'm not just talking about what happened at the temple to save his life, but, he sort of led Ben to believe there was a place for him among the others. Saeed, obviously, tried to end Ben's life, but, like, arguably because Saeed shot him and then Ben needed this medical attention at the temple, it did forever change him, and, who knows who he may have been. And then Jacob, and I think, this is a topic for a whole other podcast, but, Ben does often say everything he did for Jacob. And, supposedly Jacob is communicating instructions through Richard, and then Richard is telling Ben. So, that's also a mitigating factor, I guess, in Ben's choices. That's my take.
My hot take is that young Ben is what humanizes. Young Ben is what makes Ben the best character. Ben is my favorite character. If, not everybody has the same opinions as me, and that's not okay, but one day it will be. Mm-hmm. And, I think that if you are like me, and you kind of know what I'm talking about, if you kind of see what's in Ben, but you understand that, like, young Ben is really what humanizes Ben.
Yeah.
Because we see this like behavior that was kind of because of the abuse, because of all these terrible things happening to him. Even people have made articles about how Annie was so impactful on his life because he's kind of obsessive over Juliet. It's because one way or another Annie left the island.
Yeah.
And
so he's lonely. He's abandoned
lonely
by her.
Yes, and he keeps that doll, obviously. He's not all just stone.
Yeah.
And so
Actually,
young Ben is really...
The doll is really a symbol of Ben's humanity. Like, and we see him looking at the doll, 30 years later, again on his birthday, and remembering Annie. So, and we watched the commentary for...
And it says that, like, Annie is very symbolic.
Yeah.
In his life. We don't know why. There's lots of good theories that I like out there, but, obviously she had a big impact on his life, and there's even, like, a deleted remembering moment in the finale for Ben, and I don't know, I think it had something to do with Annie because he said we were going to do it, but the actress wasn't available. So, obviously they wanted to do something with that. I wish they had done anything with that.
Yeah, they really needed to follow up on that for sure.
But yeah, that is... But my hot take is that, like, young Ben is maybe even the best part of Ben because,
Yeah, and when we watched the Man Behind the Curtain episode with commentary on the DVD, and I think like the showrunners kind of made that point too, that the whole point of including all this backstory is to show Ben's humanity and to help us to understand kind of what went into making him who he really is. So.
Yep. And so, bottom line of this podcast episode, The Man Behind the Curtain is a great episode. Young Ben is amazing, and we love Sterling Bowman.
Yeah, we love you, Sterling Bowman. So we've gone quite a bit over time, but there's lots to say, and it's very sad for Annie to kind of close the book on this
I'm
chapter.
actually so sad.
But don't worry.
I've been looking forward to this for so long.
But don't worry, there's still lots to say about Ben as we continue. We're still really only in season 2 characters, so really lots more to enjoy and discover and discuss. So thank you for joining us, and namaste.
And see you in another life.